Next speaker is James Josey, who's with the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, U.S. State Department. James joined the U.S. State Department in Washington, D.C. in February of 2015 as a senior procurement analyst. He oversees the small business efforts of the Bureau of Overseas Operations and mentor-protege program for the Department of State. Prior to joining the DOS, he served as a small business specialist with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office. While there, he impacted the agency in many ways. His breadth of government acquisitions includes A&E, R&D, IT, grants, FFP commodities, construction, and experience with numerous contracting vehicles. So I'm excited that James is with us because, again, his broad perspective is really enlightening from the small business standpoint. James?
Thank you and good morning. I want to thank Renee and the county for this invitation to come out here. I look forward to this every year. It's just an exciting experience. Very seldom do you find an event such as this that engages the young people, and it sets up a mentoring and mirroring process. So just grateful to be here. We will jump right in the slide deck. This is our top 10 products and services. You can look at the NAICS codes, the industry codes that we purchase in, and you can see the top ones represent over 52% of our total spend for 2019. This next slide deck shows our bureaus. Just like the Department of Defense that has different auxiliaries, the Air Force, the Army, et cetera, the U.S. Department of State, we operate by bureaus. Diplomatic security, they're really big around our embassies, but they do all of our badging. If it relates to security, processing, employees, or anything related to our facilities, diplomatic security, and you can see that spin. And then we have the Overseas Bureau of Operations, which is what we call OBO, and OBO is in charge of all of our construction that the agency does, which represents about $2.2 billion in that neighborhood annually. And then Consular Affairs, IRM, and make note of international narcotics and law enforcement, because this country supports law enforcement law enforcements in different countries around the world, and they represent a huge spend. Near Eastern Affairs, Bureau of Administration, African Affairs, South Central Asian Affairs, and Eurasian Affairs. The next slide deck illustrates our top 10 vendors as an agency. You look at B.L. Harbert, which is is the largest. B.L. Harbert is huge in our embassy construction. But when you talk about embassies around the world, a lot of the work does not happen around the world. Right now, B.L. Harbert is struggling with finding small businesses that will help them to prepare, because down in Montgomery, Alabama is their staging area. And there they get everything they need to construct an embassy. They put it in containers and they ship it out. But that is the assembly point where they get all of these supplies from small businesses such as yourselves, and they logistically structure it out. This goes in that container, and then they float them over to wherever the construction site is going to be. Because unfortunately, in a lot of the places that we're engaged in, there is no Home Depot around the corner, no Lowe's up the street. So everything has to be packed, and they are looking for small businesses. And you have PAE, General Dynamics, the other big boys, and Cadell Construction. B.L. Harbert and Cadell represent the two embassy contractors, main embassy contractors, 1 and 2, just about on every embassy that we construct. And one of the things that we're doing is we're pushing really hard on them to increase the amount of subcontracting dollars that they give to U.S. firms. So in every one of these companies that you see listed, there are opportunities. On the next slide, these are the top 10 bureaus. These are the bureaus as they spend. They have the dollars, okay? And I'll speak later about our forecast where you can locate these opportunities. But what you're looking at represents the dollars spent by the bureaus. This next slide, this kind of brings it home. Here in the state of Texas, these are the top companies that are doing business with the State Department. DynCorp, of course, being who they are the leaders. So when I show you this slide, what I'm telling you is they have what is called an SBLO, a Small Business Liaison Officer. You can contact them. You can even Google it. And that is the entry point into subcontracting opportunities with that particular company. The federal government mandates that these large companies on contracts of a certain dollar value based on the industry code, they must have a subcontracting plan. One of the things the SMWVBO office, which I work for, we evaluate every subcontracting plan, and I don't mind pushing it back saying, no, that's not enough that you're putting in there, making available to small businesses. So we encourage you to reach out to these, and I'm sure that Renee is going to make this slide deck available. So what are the things that we buy, we procure? When you look at the top one is facilities, or in Texas, I'm sorry. What do those companies provide us? DynCorp, that large figure there, facility support services. They help us in various locations all around the world, particularly obscure locations. That's the spend. Legal services, administrative management, etc. As indicated earlier, the State Department, as with all federal agencies, they have small business goals. I'm excited to say that the State Department has achieved every one of their small business goals the last 2 years. That's including HubZone. These are opportunities that are going to become available in the next year with OBO. These are all construction, facilities, renovations, various projects. Feel free to reach out to me. We can talk in detail. I can put you in touch with someone that could help you with those. This slide basically talks about 2 events that we have, but I want to give you a website. It's www.uswcc.org. That's the U.S. Women Chamber of Commerce. We use them as our logistics partner. If you plan to come to D.C. to meet with any federal agency, I would encourage you to go to their website, to their meetings, find an event that they're hosting, and incorporate your trip around there. If you attend one of their meetings, you're guaranteed to have at least 15 government small business offices that are going to be there, so you can maximize your trip while you're in the area. They're also our partner, and they host all of our events. Every year I come, I give you these keys to success. If you're creating a response to an opportunity, make sure you tailor it, do your homework, respond to the RFI sources sought, attend outreach events, and also reach out to me, but don't give me an opportunity to forget you, because I promise you I will. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you in the exhibit hall.